Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going In Raw. It's the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. It's also available on iTunes, iHeartRadio now, SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Steve and Larson, Google Play, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, anywhere you can find podcasts. We're basically there. I want to say thank you to everybody who is hitting that download button, that subscribe button, reviewing, rating, keeping us up there in iTunes top. This is the first time, because of fantasy football, Larson, this is the first time that we've fallen out of the 150. We're in a constant battle with Vince Russo's The Brand. That's like our competition in my mind, because we keep on, he keeps on saying annoying things.
He does.
You know, those are his opinions.
Yeah.
You know, this is a great thing about this country. You can talk about your opinions. Well, we can talk about his bra and panty comment a little bit later on.
Yeah.
When we're talking about that particular segment. On Raw, we have a Raw Cap coming up today.
We do.
Very special episode today, Darrell. It's a
Why?
very, very special episode, Larson.
Why?
It's my birthday.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
old.
Well, you're not as old as me.
Oh, boy. Well, maybe one day I'll be as old as you. One day I'll catch up to you.
Doesn't work
and
that
we'll
way.
be the same age.
Doesn't work that way.
Oh, really? I want to say thanks to all of our sponsors out there. When I say sponsors, I mean our patrons at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. It's because of you guys out there. We got a bunch of people watching right now, interacting with us in between takes. Stephen Fenris, for example, mentioned CM Punk. He's cutting weight for the UFC fight he's got coming up this weekend, and he says he looks like death. That's one of the many great comments from our wonderful friendos here.
And during our bonus episode, after we finish this,
We'll talk about, will CM Punk die?
no, we'll answer questions from the chat.
From weight loss, weight cutting.
We'll answer questions from the chat.
It's my birthday, Larson. I'm so old.
Well, while we're on that subject, this mysteriously showed up at my house, and there's damaged, obviously.
Wow, look at that.
No address label. And I didn't order anything, so I'm assuming it's for you.
Really?
Yeah.
So my birthday present would just show up oddly at your doorstep?
Who knows if it's a birthday present?
We have no idea.
We have no idea what it is. I have no idea what it is.
This might be a bomb meant for you, but now you're bringing it over to me. What would you do if I died, Larson? Would you continue the podcast if I died?
I don't know.
Really? You don't know? All those great patrons out there, they might want to just sit here. You probably get so much revenue if you just turn the podcast into you, crying because I'm gone. Would you cry if I died? I'd cry if you died.
I don't know, maybe.
Honestly, I'd cry.
I'm not much of a crier.
Really? Would you sulk? What would you do if I died? What would be your emotional response?
I would maybe stew.
Would it be more of a shrug? Stew?
No. Yeah.
That makes it sound like you're mad at me or something.
No, this means I'll just sit and ponder the emotional chaos that's going on within me.
Wow. You have emotional chaos? You seem like a pretty cold guy.
What do you mean
cold? Cold. Like
unfeeling?
Yeah.
That's not true.
Like heartless? Mm-mm. I imagine instead of a heart right there, you have a grumpier version of you just sitting in your chest cavity.
No.
Just being... Oh, look at this guy. Oh, this is amazing. Well, I don't care if this showed up at your doorstep. I'm keeping Magnum T fucking A. Look at him. Oh, my God. That's a beautiful man right there. Look at those boots. Look at the boots.
Those are good boots.
I want to get this guy out and see what they made his ass look like, because it probably looks amazing.
Well, let's check out the front area.
Yeah, look at the front area. How lumpy is it?
They didn't really do him justice.
Is there a big old bump there?
It's pretty smooth.
I love it. Look at this. Elite 44, Elite. Look at this. They have Wolfpack Sting right
cool.
here. Man, what a wonderful way to kick off my birthday.
I was joking. That's for me.
This is for Going In Raw, baby. That's what this is for.
Oh, I got a gift for me too then.
I'm going to do this. Look at Magnum TA right there. I love it. I love every second of it. That's perfect. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's really good. Goodness gracious, Larson.
All right, you want to talk about Raw?
1 second. We have to give a shout out to I do this every week.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the patrons out there. People kick in money. Get a little shout out. Let's see here. We have Riley Sarek, James Hopkins, Jason the Cabbie, Daniel McKellar, Ben Kramer, Ulysses Barahona, our second Ulysses. Oh, look at that. Neil Senick, Chris Kimmel, Charles Falk, SSG Chris, Headed Pillow, Tori Sherman, Rich Anderson, Samantha Atessiano, Mr. Waffle. We have a Mr. Waffle pledging money. Let's see here. Donovan Dean. That sounds like a kayfabe corner. K-Dog. Just put in money. Logix. Put in the Patreon. Sean Troush. Kevin Shaw. Jason White Jr. Now that's a Sandra. Andrew Wormley. Jake. A lot of these people I recognize their names from when I live tweet over at Real Going In Raw, when I'm doing the Raw and the SmackDown.
I've already started taking advantage of the perks of being a patron because they've been asking questions.
Right here in the chat, Ulysses Orizable says that second Ulysses, there can only be one. Well, I'm sorry, buddy. You're gone then. You've been around too long anyways. Time to move on.
I kind of wish they had included like actual strands of hair.
Oh, yeah, like his hair.
On his chest.
That'd be great. You know, they should include a motorcycle helmet. That's what they should do.
That's okay. Well, let's talk about Raw then.
Look, if Magnum TA had never gotten that motorcycle crash,
he would have been huge.
He would have been the scope of wrestling, the landscape would have been completely different than what it is now. No Hulk Hogan, all Magnum TA. Guaranteed.
I can see that.
Guaranteed. Man, we had a pretty big Raw last night, Larson.
We did.
It was an odd dichotomy, if you will, because I thought that the emotional highs were way up there. There were some extremely entertaining moments, but again, I got lost in the vast morass, if you will. Space-time ripped open, and I got lost in it in Raw. That third hour before the main event, like leading up to it,
that's always how it is, though.
Whoo, boy.
On an average week. You know?
On an average week it was. However, there were a couple of really, really, really good high spots here.
Yes.
And it opened up with Foley and Stephanie. And Foley was...
Well, Steph was on the phone talking to somebody.
Right.
And Foley comes up and kind of confronts her about whether she knew Triple H was going to get involved.
And there was a great moment between the two of them where Mick Foley recalls when he first met her after Hell in a Cell. He said, I got that dude with the tooth in his nose still.
Yep.
And that girl with the innocent smile, with the shy smile.
Yep.
And he says, I always want to think that no matter how devious you might get, all the machinations that you pull, no matter all that stuff, I want to believe that you're still that girl with the shy smile.
Yeah.
Seeing
and he
that
was
guy
he was asking her as the guy with the tooth in his nose.
Right. Are you lying to me? Did you know? He said, your husband, Triple H, embarrassed me. And there's so much history right there. Foley, Triple H. Both those guys were integral to each other's WWE careers.
Yes.
Especially Foley on Triple H, because Triple H really made a name for himself, off of Foley.
Yeah.
And they really elevated each other.
Yeah.
I was just watching. We were doing research. I was doing research on that top 10 list we dropped this past weekend.
Yeah.
The top 10 shocking title changes on Raw.
Yeah.
And the Mankind Triple H one, when Mankind went over. And when Triple H, I'm sorry, that was over The Rock. When Triple H went over Mankind for his first one.
Yeah.
A lot of really interesting stuff there. But there's a lot of history there, and Stephanie's involved with that. And she said, I didn't know. I'm not lying. I'm emotionally devastated.
Not just, well, she's talking about the professional ramifications of it because she still has a board to appease.
Right.
But also, she said that the Triple H has run in the previous week was causing marital strife. So there's an emotional component.
Right.
To all the goings on.
Right. So that was interesting. And it was, there was a lot of weight there. That's what I liked about it. It wasn't Foley being jokey. Foley's really bringing the dramatic chops, you know, and Stephanie is too. She's not that one-dimensional authority person.
No, it was a really good segment.
It was a really good segment. So that led us to the Kevin Owens celebration.
Yeah.
He was looking dapper in that suit.
He looks great in a suit.
He was an all-black suit. He was wearing the red belt. Looked great on him. He comes out. They have this ridiculously long pyro display.
Well, they had balloons falling. They had the pyro for like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And then they had looked like streamers falling too.
Yeah. The whole shebang there.
Yeah. And he said, that's what I wanted.
And I love that he immediately came down and started running down the crowd for chanting, "You deserve it." He said, "You're trying to hijack
his moment."
People, he's He can try to be a heel all he wants, man. He's
After he said all that, people cheered him.
People cheer him. You know what? It's so funny too because I was talking about doing research for that episode that we did, and the Triple H Jericho bit when Jericho won the belt and Triple H was the best heel, man. He had people, and it's funny because I wonder. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Triple H back at his heel peak. It's almost as if he knew burying people in the way that he did would get him over more as a heel as well.
Yeah.
Would Triple H, because Triple H was a really, really good wrestler, and he was a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Would he be cheered today the same way Owens and Seth Rollins? Triple H never aimed. Okay, let me put it this way. Seth Rollins will, even when he was trying to be a heel, he would do little bits of comedy. When he would interact with the New Day, for example, he would do things that are obviously entertaining.
Yeah.
Triple H would go out of his way to get people pissed off at him, and he wouldn't play around.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's the difference. Would he be cheered today if people understood like how great? Because he put on some damn good matches back in the day. Would today's crowd cheer him today?
I think they would. I think there's been a change in how crowds view their wrestlers, at least at live shows, where they don't care so much about the heel-face dynamic. They appreciate good work. And that's why you have people
they appreciate good work
who have traditionally, or who have as faces would have been pushed and been accepted by the crowd. That's Roman Reigns, for example.
The only example I can really think of today isn't even Rusev, because Rusev still does some Dog Ziggler, Lana's a cold dead fish. Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe is one of the only pure heels I can think of that never jokes around, and that NXT crowd loves him. But NXT crowd's a little bit different, as we've seen, than the main crowd. But even saying that, I think a guy like Samoa Joe would come in and people would cheer the shit out of him because they know that he's so brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, Brock Lesnar, I guess, is maybe a comparison.
Maybe, but I think people are starting to tire of Brock's thing right now.
Yeah, and it's not like he puts on. That's the difference too, is that Brock doesn't put on great matches. He hardly puts on matches.
And Joe can.
And Joe can.
Any given night.
Joe does. Any given night. You're right. So it is an interesting dynamic change there, because boy, Triple H, he was hated.
Yeah, I know.
Hated. You've seen. I mean, that was something that was like a Southern thing. When people still thought there was a blur, between the lines, like people booing the Freebirds or whatever. If they were fighting the Von Erichs,
Yeah.
Triple H was getting that heat. These days,
only time
people love bad guys when they're really giving it their all.
The only time people get legit heat is if they just don't like them.
Does the Revival get booed? They do a damn good job trying.
They do, but people still appreciate their work.
Yeah.
I mean, we love their work.
We love their shit.
And
everybody you turn around and look at, they all love the Revival. They want to see them be beat, but they love the Revival.
I mean, if you go to an NXT show, like during introductions, people will cheer kind of regardless if they respect your work.
Right.
Once you get into the match, I mean, going back to the Revival...
Gargano Ciampa?
Yeah, that match.
Yeah.
When the Revival came out, they got a decent pop. But as they started doing their traditional heel tactics during the match, they got heat.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Then after the match... So I think the crowd knows, okay, this is the response these guys are trying to elicit from us. And they will do it just in the heat of the match.
Yeah.
But then afterwards...
Yeah.
They say, okay, that was great.
So anyways, we had Kevin Owens going heel on the crowd. Wasn't long before. The great thing too is Stephanie and Mick's reaction when he starts running down the crowd, because it's such a matter of like, oh, you're to grow. Why are you doing that?
Well, and like Steph too is kind of from the beginning of the show when she's on the phone with whoever, making sure that Owens' celebration is up to par.
Right, exactly.
Was to placate the chant.
Right, exactly.
Was to get in his good graces.
And he starts like running down your audience. So people are trying to buy merch.
There's this push and pull and stuff of trying to, make her champ happy at the same time being kind of put off by him.
So Seth comes out to a huge face pop. and doesn't do anything to alleviate the face reception he's getting. So we're all pretty sure Seth is face now.
Yeah.
I mean, Seth is going to be Seth. I just think he's not going to be running down crowds anytime soon.
No. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he'll be a face, but he'll still have some edge to him.
Exactly. He'll be a tweener.
Well, I mean, like, if his match, I'm sorry to skip ahead, his match with against Jericho is any indication, he's going to be more aggressive. And not just in terms of ring work, but in terms of personality. Because when he was a heel, by and large, like his matches were a slower pace. Like he did what he could. Because he has a very exciting in-ring style, as we saw last night, because he was working a faster pace.
Right, exactly.
Which is traditionally more of like his moveset is a more traditional face moveset, I believe.
Yeah.
With all the high flying
More
stuff.
exciting shit. Yeah, exactly.
So I think when he's a heel, he purposely dialed that back a bit.
Right.
And then as you start, like when he did the Phoenix Splash, people were getting excited about it. And then seems like, especially when he came back, he seemed like he was starting to turn up the speed a little bit.
Yeah, he revs up the crowd. He revs. Yeah. It's a very subtle thing you can do.
Yeah.
Rev up the crowd that way. So he starts laying into Stephanie. He lays into Mick. Stephanie tries to suspend him for interrupting the everything.
To make her new champ happy.
Exactly. Owens had a great line. He said, "You're the architect, but the only blueprint you've been drawing up is one for total failure." Seth gets pissed, punches him a couple times. You mentioned on recap, you notice Owens, after he gets punched twice out of the ring.
And then Rollins kicks the mic at him.
Yeah. So anyways, this all leads to Mick Foley says, "No, Stephanie, don't suspend him. You know, you have to trust me. I'll make the match. We'll make this a thing." And he says, we have Seth versus, because Jericho came down.
Yeah.
Was it at that point, or was it a backstage?
It was backstage.
Backstage.
It was the longest reigning Universal champion.
And Owens says 7 days.
7 days.
And so, anyways, long story short, that ends up with a match between Seth Rollins and Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And then later on in the night, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn.
Correct.
We had a great. We'll talk about the backstage segment right now, real quick. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn echoing our concerns that he's been directionless lately.
Yeah.
And Owens enters into the shot, says, "You're jealous because the race is over. I won the belt."
Yeah.
He said the race is far from over. It'll never be over. So that's really cool. I really see, like, once Owens gets a little bit more stroke, he's going to be bringing it. Ever since I read that Jim Cornette said that Kevin Steen back then was El Generico's agent.
Yeah.
And dealing with him meant you had to deal with him.
That's
How
funny.
great of a story
That's
is
so
that?
funny.
It's so great. So Sami Zayn's going to be in that title scene one way or the other.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, regardless if he deserves it, which he does.
Yeah.
So anyways, we got that. We got two stellar matches.
Yeah.
Again, Raw had 3 really, really strong matches. Maybe some more when I look at some more of these. Sheamus versus Cesaro was pretty good. They're telling a good story.
It's a good story.
Okay, so we had Jericho versus Rollins. Rollins is going over.
And again, I think we're going to see more of this faster paced, more aggressive Rollins.
Right,
forward.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's only going to help him getting over as a face.
Right. In the main event, we had Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens went over. Really good match. These guys can mix it up a million different ways, and it'll always be entertaining.
Yep.
Roman Reigns enters the picture. He has beef from last week as well. Doesn't say a word, which I liked.
Yeah.
But he comes down. Lana and Rusev are off on honeymoon or getting married.
No,
again.
they're on their honeymoon right now.
They got married again, though. It was on Instagram.
Yeah, but then
in Bulgaria.
Yeah. And then they're on their honeymoon. And Rusev said on Twitter for 23 days. So that's a month-long honeymoon practically.
I love that, yeah. So anyways, Roman Reigns comes down because he needs something to do. And Foley says, "Hold on. If you want in on this as a triple threat, Clash of Champions was made. Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens for Universal Championship. If you want in on this as a triple threat, you have to beat Kevin Owens next week on Raw. I have a feeling Chris Jericho's going to get involved, and it'll be Roman versus Jericho.
I think you're right about that.
At Clash, and I think that's really good for both. I mean, look, whoever is in something with Jericho, that person is going to benefit because Jericho is 100% these days.
I know.
He is fantastic.
It's amazing how he's revitalized his career during this last run.
It's absolutely it's fairly obvious. He's getting up there. He's having fun. He's relaxed. His legacy has been cemented.
Yep.
And it's so crazy how fucking over he was when he won that title from Triple H, and then it was reversed. He was so over.
Yeah.
And then it's so weird because I texted you this.
Yeah. Like 18 months later, whatever it was.
18 months later, I watched his Undisputed Championship reign. I know he was working heel, but the crowd just sat on their hands. Did not give a damn that he won those belts.
So weird.
Yeah, it was a huge moment. So anyways, Austin was still mega over at that time.
Yeah.
So, Let's end Booker T. Like, it wasn't a clean victory, so there's that as well. But still, like the crowd was completely dead. So, anyways, let's see here. We also had in the women's division,
Yes.
Charlotte versus Bayley. Charlotte was telling Dana Brooke, you need to just take notes.
Yeah,
she
so
gave
she
her a
gave
clipboard.
her a clipboard.
Take notes. Stand aside. Don't interfere. Just take notes on how a true champion is.
Yes.
Man, Charlotte looks amazing these days. That robe looks like it's made from space and time.
Yeah,
it looks amazing on her. It's like a deep black with like these like stardust sprinkles in them. I hate using the word stardust because I think of Cody Rhodes' cheesy stardust thing.
Yeah.
I love Cody Rhodes. He's going to TNA.
Yeah.
And he's going to double duty TNA and Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is, one of those is good. The other
one of them's good.
is whatever. It's so sad. It's so sad whenever I hear TNA. Like I'd love to think that, TNA is the house that brought us the Final Deletion, and it is.
It is.
But at the same time, they brought us a lot of other crap.
Yeah.
So anyways.
But they've also kind of served as a farm system for NXT. And everybody
that's true.
moved on from
yeah. We have a good Patrick Sparks video question today asking us about TNA and who we think might be moving on.
But the Charlotte versus Bayley match, decent match.
Yeah.
Do you think the drop kick spot where Bayley was hurt was
when she tried to go through the
was scripted, or was it a botch and she sold injury to cover the botch?
We've talked about this before, that we're not huge on, or I'm especially not huge on working botches into a match. And I don't know that any of the botches we've seen were works, or if they were all actual botches that they then just, as professionals, worked into the match. But we've seen this, I feel like we've seen this a lot with Sami Zayn. I feel like I didn't see it last night, but I feel like every Sami Zayn match seemingly has a botch that he then works as into the storyline of the match.
It could be.
That's concerning to me, because I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Well, no, I mean, I much prefer actual botches happen and then they use it to tell a story as opposed to
trying to manufacture a botch.
Botches, yeah.
Because botches are not pretty. They just look ugly.
No, I mean, someone get hurt.
Yeah.
If you try to botch.
So I don't know. It looked legit.
That's what I thought too.
It looked legit, and everybody at Real Going in Raw when I was live tweeting was saying, "Oh God damn it, is she injured?
Yeah.
Is she injured?"
I think that was just. Well, I hope that was Bayley just selling.
We would have heard from her by now.
I mean, I don't think she's really hurt.
Yeah.
I just hope it was a situation where the move got messed up a little bit,
right?
And she's like, okay, well, I'll sell an injury to help the story of the match.
Right, yeah. I think you're right about that.
And if so, it's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Good match, though. Bayley goes over cleanly after Dana Brooke sort of is in the wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
Gives Charlotte a Bayley to belly, goes for the pin 1, 2, 3. So Bayley now has a pretty good claim to being the number one contender. But later on in the night, just before the main event, so in a big prime spot right there, Sasha Banks comes out. No gear, just her regular civilian clothes.
Yep. Well, let's go back a bit, because earlier in the day she put something on Twitter saying
don't always do what's expected of you or something like that. And then she says, I've got some bad news.
Yeah.
And so people were sort of thinking, okay, my very first thought was, oh, she has bad news. She's going to say it's bad news for Charlotte. I kind of thought, okay, that's what she was talking about.
But what they were going after was to insinuate that she had bad news regarding her injury status.
Exactly. And I didn't watch the pre-show. Stephen Fenris mentioned on Twitter that Booker T oversold the shit out of Sasha Banks possibly being retired or having to take an extended leave of absence because of her injury. In his mind, that sort of telegraphed it being a work. I didn't see the pre-show because I can only watch so much in the day. And so when she came out, I thought she did just $1 million job on this acting role of hers, because it was everything that you'd expect from. I mean, we saw this legit with Daniel Bryan. Edge was acting the exact same way when he retired.
Yep.
Your music hits, you come out, you show appreciation, you hold back tears.
You do the career summation,
which she did. And then, thank God, Dana Brooke's music hits. Then you know it's a work. She comes down. Sasha lays into her, says, the bad news I had was for Charlotte. I'm coming after her title at Clash of Champions. So, obviously, Sasha deserves her rematch at Clash. Bayley's in the picture, though.
Yeah.
How do you see this playing out?
I suspect it'll be Sasha and Charlotte at Clash, and after that, they may go in a triple threat direction. But this is probably just wishful thinking on my part. I want this to culminate in Sasha Bailey WrestleMania because I think that's a money feud.
Oh, I think it is
and
too.
It's a huge match.
Absolutely. I think at that point, Charlotte can be a face head taking on Nia Jax. I think it's a big match. That's a really good match. The Sasha thing had echoes of Mark Henry's amazing retirement speech against John Cena. I felt it was definitely sort of on par.
Yeah.
I thought she did just an absolutely killer job.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. So let's see what else we got.
Let's talk about the return of squash matches. I know they've been happening ever since the brand split.
I love squash matches.
But now there's a new wrestler getting involved
There's
in these
a new squasher in town.
matches, and his name is Bo Dallas.
Now, Bo Dallas recently was arrested for public intoxication
Correct.
on board a plane. I'm not sure if that has its own charge in terms of being on a plane, because people are very sensitive about being on planes these days.
I don't know. That's a good question.
But he was escorted off a plane because he was drunk.
Yeah.
He was running people down.
Yeah, he's being belligerent.
Shooting on them left and right.
Yeah.
And we all thought, according to everybody, he was booked for shows, for live events. And it was always stated, that doesn't mean he's going to be on TV.
Yeah.
But he's back on TV.
With a new aggressive attitude.
He's squashing jobbers.
I don't know if I really enjoy this kind of amalgam of all his various gimmicks.
That's what it is.
Because he's still kind of the inspirational Bo Leave guy.
Right.
But he's also still, for some reason, a social outcast because he still had the Outcast logo on his tights.
Right.
But then he's more aggressive now. Mm-hmm. So it's three different bows in one bow. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It seems to lack focus.
I don't like it because Bo got a win.
No, I like that.
And I like you're absolutely right though. There is no you're totally right. There needs to be a solid direction here. He needs his own ring gear.
And I think that's really the primary thing is he should not be wearing social outcast gear when the social outcasts aren't a thing. I'm sure he still has his old I'm sure he still has his white trunks somewhere.
Adam Rose, Aldo Rose is gone.
Heath Slater is the hottest free agent in the industry.
Heath Slater's killing on SmackDown.
And Curtis Axel hasn't been seen.
I know. I miss Curtis Axel.
So
what a bummer. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. You're absolutely right. I am simply grateful that we get Bo Dallas. Now the question is, and I think somebody asked this in our questions later. We're just going to answer it now. We'll give them a shout out when they say it. Can Bo Dallas be? Can they turn around on him? Can they turn it around with Bo Dallas? I have always personally felt he's a rotunda.
Yeah.
He's got Bray Wyatt. He's got IRS blood flowing through them veins.
Yeah.
I think he's $1 million on the mic.
Yeah, he's really good.
I think, look, he's not a physical specimen, but neither is his brother, and he's money.
And when he was wrestling prior to last night, he wasn't showing this kind of speed and quickness that he was last night with his more aggressive style. He's got a new finisher. Mm-hmm. So,
can they turn it around with Bo Dallas? I feel like inching towards a turnaround is probably a less effective way to go than, and I'm not saying a complete and total rebrand. I'm not saying Husky Harris to Bray Wyatt, but I am saying you need to come out fresh with, like you said, direction. And I think, is that your problem with it? Is that if you're going to be successful with this,
if they're gonna
you need a reset button.
Yeah, if they're going to hit the reset to a degree, not a full reset because it's not a whole new character or a whole new persona, then lose the vestiges of the social outcast faction. Give him, like he had that sign he was carrying around, Bo Leave and Bo.
Yeah.
Give him some red, white, and blue gear. Put Bo Leave across the front or across the butt area, one of the two.
Yeah.
Tie it in with, if the Bo Leave and Bo thing is his new kind of gimmick going forward, then have gear that ties in with that.
I'll be honest, man. I cannot. The one thing I can't stand is the Bo Leave thing. To me, that's dead in the water. So stop doing it.
Yeah.
So just stop doing it. Now I don't know. There have been times when people have been sort of, 50% reinvented. You keep the name. You keep your backstory, if you will, your history.
You just alter aspects of the character. Yeah.
You find a new direction and you go hardcore in that direction.
Yeah.
Darren Young is a good example of that. Like they openly acknowledge this is a repackaging. I need to turn things around, so I'm bringing in a former champion.
Yeah.
And I think Bo Dallas, shit, if you think about it. I really like Darren Young with Bob Backlund. I really like those segments. I think Darren Young's got a lot of charisma. So maybe, do these chairs, are these more conducive to us touching feet?
I think so. And
my goodness
gracious. I've been sitting here for a half hour and I'm getting sleepy. I'll tell you what, I'm too comfortable.
This is a very comfortable chair.
I have this giant cup of iced tea and it's not doing anything to wake me up.
So, look, we'll see. The bottom line is we'll see where they're going with this Bo Dallas thing. I was wondering if they're going to job him out to a jobber as punishment.
Yeah, no, I thought that too.
But they seem, what's interesting, dude? They seem to be protecting the product above to a degree. We kind of saw it in the brand draft, but they seem to be protecting the product over punishing people. You remember McMahon used to punish people left and right in the most humiliating ways on live TV, whether it's through the Vince McMahon Kiss Your Ass Club or Kiss My Ass Club or whatever, or having Trish Stratus bark like a dog, whatever the fuck, whatever weird shit. Low Key's entire WWE career, just trying to haze him or whatever their deal was. Yeah, they seem to try to protect the product more these days than that really kind of ugly spell in the Ruthless Aggression era type, know? And so I'm glad that we're not seeing that with Bo Dallas, you know? So let's see here.
Let's talk about Sheamus and Cesaro.
Oh, man, I was so happy. Sheamus went up 3-0.
And he was really working that back.
They were telling a good story. Yep. I liked it. I like that they're spacing out the matches. I like that the next one's going to be a house show. Yeah. I like that. It means Cesaro's going to go up. Yeah. I'm sorry, not up. He's going to get a win. Yeah. I love that Sheamus is up 3-0. Cesaro's almost cartoonish with this tape thing he's got going on. I'm sorry, but it's just, many people on Twitter at Real Going In Raw last night while I was live tweeting Raw were sending me pictures of the Yeti from back in the day, and they're like, this is what he's going to end up as, and it's just sort of silly. And the funny thing is, when Sheamus won that match and he went up 3-0, if you're an NBA fan and your team goes up, well, I guess in baseball they do best of 7 as well. Yeah. If you go up 3-0, it's very rare that
it's like 90%, 95% of the time a lock that you're going to win that series.
It had never happened in baseball until about 10 years ago.
2003 Red Sox Yankees.
Yeah, exactly. And there's that was like 100 years of baseball. Yeah. Basketball, it's a very, very low percentage. Although I think didn't we see it twice this past in the playoffs? Didn't Cleveland come back from 3-1?
They came back from 3-1. Yeah.
From 3-1, okay, not 3-0.
And it's happened in hockey a few times too, where teams have come back from 3-0, I believe.
Okay.
But it's a rare occurrence.
The look on Sheamus's face when he went up 3-0 wasn't, oh, this is a lock. Yeah. It was, I've already been told that I'm going to go up 3-0 and then lose 4 in a row. That, to me, was the look on his face. I think I'm a pretty good read of people, be honest with you. And that's what it said to me.
And watch on Wednesday when they have the 4th match and Sheamus wins.
Oh, look, I will be so, the happiest I've ever been to be proven wrong. I will be so ecstatic.
But hey, maybe Cesaro did get hurt legitimately in the 2nd match. And they're having the 4th match not be televised so Cesaro can lose and not be kind of humiliated. And that he can go heal up. That's a possibility.
That's a possibility.
It'd be a bummer.
Oh, I would love it. I would be bummed out that I didn't buy tickets to London.
You'd take a plane over there.
I would spend $1,000 or $1,500, whatever it is, to plane a ticket to England. Plus the
plane a ticket to England.
Yeah. Plus, shut up. Plus the fee for the house show. The probably 500-pound fee for the front row experience.
Oh, okay.
To be there when Sheamus wins 4-0. I will regret the decision not to watch it, but we all know that Cesaro's going to pick up.
Yeah, he'll win.
Yeah. If he was injured so bad, they would have stopped it. They'd have been like, yeah, no, Sheamus would be like, I didn't even take 7 or 4 matches to do it. Yeah. Anyways, the Shining Stars beat Enzo and Cass.
This was really surprising to me.
After a hilarious bit. I know a lot of people out there kind of over Enzo and Cass. A lot of people on the Twitters are saying, all right, I'm tired of their shtick. Because, they come out there. I don't feel this way. But I can see how some people feel that Enzo's shtick some weeks is better than others.
Oh, yeah.
Last night, when they gave birth to an imaginary child.
That was funny.
And Cass, dude, I mentioned this on Recap on Machinima. I think last week was like the thesis paper. It was the final for Cass to get that full confidence in the ring on the mic. Because last night I didn't detect, with Cass usually he wears his butterflies on his face.
Yeah, he can. Yeah.
If he has any butterflies in his stomach, you can kind of see it on his face. You saw it last week when he came out. This week he was completely and totally at ease. He was flowing with the comedy, and he's always been good. I've always loved them.
Yeah.
They're great. And the butterflies that you've seen on his face, in my opinion, add to his appeal.
Yeah.
Because just like when we got to interview them, Cass seems like Enzo Amore seems like the most down-to-earth, nice guy you'd ever meet.
Yeah.
Cass seems like a giant sweetheart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they seem like it's their shtick. The realest guys in the room.
Yeah.
They come off that way.
Yeah.
And so when you see him nervous, it's not like, oh, he should be a polished superstar.
Yeah.
So when you see him and you see, like, the nervousness on his face, you relate to that.
Yeah.
It's I hope he does good, because if I was out there, I'd feel the same exact way.
But whenever he starts doing his thing,
whenever he picks up, he's
fine.
great. He's
fine.
It's always sort of getting out the gate.
Yeah.
Last night he was on all cylinders. He was totally into it. He was feeling every bit of it, and it was hilarious. The what do you call the breathing exercises that you do?
Lamaze.
The Lamaze, how you doing?
Yeah.
That was great. That was hilarious. Then Enzo gives his
baby
child
over
over
at ringside. I know. That was pretty funny.
Oh Lordy B, that was hilarious. Anyways, they go and they job to the Shining Stars, hopefully to set up something between these guys. Enzo, that's one thing about them. They need something to do.
I know.
And so taking a loss to the Shining Stars might set up something that could be interesting. I still see, and I think the WWE still does too, there's something to be had with the Shining Stars.
Yeah.
They're charismatic guys.
They are. They're decent in the ring.
They're decent in the ring.
They're decent talkers.
Even when they were Los Matadores, okay? They, on WWE.com, there was at least one video. They might have done a couple. There was at least one video, and it was a skit. And it was all over the place, but it was like a skit where they went out and filmed stuff with what's the little dude's name?
El Torito.
El Torito. And they rode they went to like something like the Saddle Ranch where they got the bull, mechanical bull, and they did something like that.
Yeah.
I was literally laughing out loud. Now, I never got to see that in the ring on the main product, because that's not the element to do that kind of in.
Yeah.
But they were legit funny. These guys are charismatic. They've just never had a good venue for that.
All the vignettes leading up to their debut as the Shining Stars were funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think their promo work, since they've been on TV somewhat regularly, has been good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, I think the missing piece of that puzzle might be Carlito.
Could be.
I mean, those guys would all have really good chemistry. Carlito's a funny dude.
I kind of feel like what they also need is a stronger punchline than come to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. I agree with that. So anyways, hey, you know what? Give these guys something to do. Maybe being with Enzo and Cass, working with them, will help put some spotlight on them. They'll have a counter. That's what is vital here, is that the Shining Stars can't always be the butt of the joke and have nothing to come back with. Yeah. They're going to need to get over somehow.
Yes.
You look at the club and New Day, and granted, this week was not a good example of that.
No.
But up until last night, there was some good back and forth there.
Yeah.
There was some spotlight on the club. They got to get their bits in. The New Day got their bits in.
Yeah.
Last night was a complete fucking mess. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
The Shining Stars need that sort of back and forth.
Yeah.
Let's talk about them.
Okay.
The club and the New Day. So the club, they tried to do something with their retirement. They're going to retire.
Old farts thing.
And
this whole thing reminds me of an Attitude Era skit that even then wouldn't have been funny.
I know. So they bring out the Old Day, the couple probably local guys who were dressed up like old versions of the New Day. And it was slow and excruciating, and the crowd wasn't into it. Nobody was laughing. It was horrible.
I didn't really feel like Gallows and Anderson were into it.
I don't think they thought it was funny at all. I felt like somebody else wrote this for them, and they were like, we have to do this. And they're like, yeah, no, it was good. Trust me, it was good. No, it was pure crap. And then the New Day came out. They couldn't even really salvage it. There was nothing to be done here.
Yeah.
Just nothing. Just move on. When is it? Did they mention? I don't even know if they mentioned the record last. There was no really place.
It was mentioned last night.
It was mentioned last night.
Yeah. The number of days they've had the titles, 370, whatever.
But they need 490.
Yeah. They need to hold them till the end of the year.
I don't know that they're going to give a shit about the streak, man, because the club they can't make this last till the end of the year.
No, I know.
And the club needs those belts.
I know.
They need something out of this. Because I mean, say what you will, they're getting prime spell. Look, not everything is going to do well. Sometimes shit's going to fall flat.
I feel like they should have.
They're not ruined. Everybody on Twitter,
Yeah.
they're ruining them. They're ruining it. They're not ruined. They just had a bad week.
I feel like after SummerSlam, when they stopped doing the ring post-itis thing, they should have just stopped with the whole.
I agree, but the WWE, they're
skits in front of green screen type
totally
thing.
fine with running into the ground. They're more apt to run things into the ground and milk everything they can out of it.
I know.
As opposed to stop them while they're ahead.
I know.
So I don't know. I mean, look, it's Gallows Anderson. They're great, and they will continue to be great at a certain point. Even Stone Cold had off weeks.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them, but he had them.
Let's talk about Nia Jax.
Nia Jax beat up somebody named Ann Esposito, and it looks like she's finally coming around to. She's working her way through the My Career thing, and she's come up to her first actual name on the roster, which is Alicia Fox.
Yes,
who evidently was friends with Ann Esposito.
Yeah.
Nia Jax clowns Alicia Fox, says, "Oh, your friend shouldn't have been mixing it up with me in the first place."
Alicia Fox threw a box of tissues in her face.
Very inadvertently.
Yeah.
Inadvertently, because she was trying to do sort of I'm going crazy thing.
Yeah.
And the box ended up just sort of flew out of her hands and hit Nia Jax in the face. And for a split second, Alicia Fox dropped everything, didn't understand that they were live. Maybe this was taped. I don't know.
No, I think it's just kind of human nature.
Human nature, yeah. She went like, well, if it was taped, they probably would have done it again.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
No,
But I think this was live.
What I'm saying is human nature. When something like that happens, you stop for a second.
I ever tell you about the exact same scenario happened to me in acting class.
Oh, really?
I took one acting class
in junior college, right?
In junior college, yeah. And it was and me and my scene partner had to do shit. I don't even know what it was from. But it was like a scenario where like a roommate was pissed off at another roommate.
Oh, you told me this story before.
And I had, and we had to do it twice. We did one like sort of run through, and then the next was our final. So the first time I had my character's supposed to throw this pot, at like a cooking pot at like his friend, his roommate, because he gets pissed off at him. And so now obviously, like we had blocked it so that my friend would duck and it would go over him. Okay. Yeah. Well, when I did it the first time, I'm the idiot throwing the pot. I'm like the least coordinated person you'll ever meet. Yeah. And so I throw it at him, but I throw it too low. I'm method. All right, I'm method. He ducked too early. I threw it at him. Shoot, hit him in the head. All right. And it stunned him, and then like we worked with it. We worked with it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No, it was obviously the same thing. It was a moment of, oh fuck, and then it was, let's get back into it.
Yeah.
So, teacher said, hey, you guys need to block this better so that, you don't hit him in the head. I was like, I just need to throw it a little higher. So the next time, I keep that in mind. I throw it higher. It goes through the goddamn window. We didn't block it so that it wouldn't be going through the window. I didn't have enough. He called me up. He said, hey, Steve, my teacher called me and said, don't worry about paying for that window. Because I was like, dude, I'll pay for that. Yeah. And he said, they just fix it. It's fine. So everything was good. Anyways, evidently they didn't practice this beforehand because it whacked Nia Jax right in the face. Yeah. Alicia Fox sort of took a second. And then she they went back into it. So it looks like it's going to be Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox. It's her sort of first real
feud.
Test. Yeah. Speaking of jobbers taking on real wrestlers, Braun Strowman took on Sin Cara, who took offense to Braun demasking Americo last week.
Correct.
Yeah. It was a bit more of an actual match.
Yeah, there was some actual back and forth, and Braun Strowman didn't win in his usual dominant fashion. He won by countout.
Right. So, I think we're going to see.
I guess there's another burgeoning feud.
The rematch there at Clash, or just maybe next week at Raw.
Probably next week on Raw. Yeah.
I'm trying to think who could Braun take on at Clash, like once he moves on from Sin Cara. Or is this just going to be like a 3-week feud and they go to Clash?
Could be.
On the pre-show.
You skipped over Darren Young versus Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
With Titus O'Neil on commentary.
I'm okay skipping over that, but we can talk about it for a second. Titus is always good. He's good as a heel. He's always good on commentary.
Yeah, he's great on commentary.
I always love him on commentary.
Yeah. And there was the post-match brawl after Darren won between Titus and Darren that was pretty fun.
5 years from... How old is Titus? Titus is old. He's like
He's
our
in
age.
his mid-late 30s, yeah.
All right. 5 years from now, if Lawler retires, I want to see Titus O'Neil on the pre-show panel. That's what I want to see. Because I think that dude's funny as shit. I think he's quick as a whip. And I'd love to see him and Booker T bantering. Because you know what it'd be? Booker T seems like the kind of guy who's just trying to make people laugh, and he's trying not to laugh himself.
Yeah.
He seems like he's just there to have a good time.
Yeah.
And I could see him and Titus having really good chemistry.
Yeah.
Trying not to make each other laugh at this stuff.
That'd be funny.
That would be good. Let's see here.
That's most of Raw we got through. So we talked about SASHA.
Yeah, we talked about everything else.
Kevin
That was
Owens,
Raw. That was Raw.
It was an okay show, up and down.
It was an okay show. You know, you gotta take some time out during the Darren Young bits, during the Braun Strowman Sin Cara match. Just go stretch, take a walk around the block,
Go get a snack.
grab some foodies. You know, I like
Have a beer
foodies.
or some iced tea or some water.
Go talk to your loved ones. Maybe do some drawing. Take a crap.
Something. Yeah, something.
Something.
Play some games on your phone. Something.
because then you're kind of excited.
Play with your wrestling action figures.
Because then you're kind of happy to go back to it.
Well, it provides some context as far as time that's passing.
Where
too.
you are in the world.
Yeah, especially if you're doing something on your phone because you have a clock right there.
You have a clock. You always know what time it is.
Instead of getting lost in some sort of weird space-time vortex watching Raw.
Always
where
weird.
time slows. All right, you want to answer some questions?
Yeah.
First, Matthew Shipman. When do you think we'll get an explanation from Triple H for his interference in his pick of Owens over Rollins?
That's a good question. Everybody was asking last night.
Rollins kind of insinuated that Triple H had always viewed Owens as his chosen one.
By the way, one of our any patron, $1 and up, which is any patron, gets priority questions here on our questions segment.
Yeah.
I'll open up a thread.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all right. Everybody last night on the Twitter at Real Going In Raw was hitting me up. Hey, you think Triple H is going to come tonight? I thought he was, but he didn't.
Yeah, I thought he was.
So,
maybe they're trying to stretch the story out.
I think so, yeah. The specter of Triple H was enough last night.
Yeah.
Stephanie and McFoley did a good enough job to cover for him not being there.
The 24-time European champion right now.
Speaking of Triple H, NXT, baby. How excited were you when you saw that little map?
Yeah.
All of California represented there. That was great.
Fantastic.
Sacramento. We're going to be there.
It's a lot of wrestling we're going to be enjoying in the month of October.
This is our life now, man.
We get No Mercy and we get an NXT house show.
Truly no mercy.
24-time European champion.
Hold on.
This is a good question. Is it me or is the New Day / Club rivalry just not entertaining anymore? New Day segments are usually money, but the Old Day segment last night was just hot garbage.
Last night's segment was enough to make you think that it's getting old. And if it repeats next week,
I thought
it will be getting
week's
old.
skit with the club fell flat too.
Oh, the Dana Brooke Brazzers bit?
A bit, yeah.
When they did the porno?
Yeah, that felt kind of flat.
You toss Dana Brooke into any equation. I'm cooling on her, man. She wasn't ready.
No.
Wasn't ready.
Joshua Kavanaugh.
We want people to do well.
Yes.
We really do.
Yes, we do. Joshua Kavanaugh, with Sasha Banks back in the title picture, where does that leave Bayley in the mix leading up to and post pay-per-view?
Sort of talked about it. I would actually be. I know what you're saying. You know, her versus Sasha at Clash. I would be surprised if they didn't, because they're making Clash to be a big deal. I wouldn't be surprised if Bayley got in there as a triple threat somehow.
And I guess if they want to start a Sasha Bayley feud, they could use that as ammunition to kick that off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sasha could say, that was supposed to be my rematch. That was supposed to be my title that you won. If Bayley were to win.
Sasha Bayley feud at this point, I don't know, man. Two faces like that. They're hot faces, man.
No, I know.
Ugh. They need somebody else. Excuse me. Jesus Christ. They need more heels, man.
They do.
SmackDown Live seems to have like no end to female heels.
I know.
No.
Ulysses. Well,
Which
WWE
Ulysses?
or is the bowl?
Oh, is he even still around?
Well, you just asked a question.
I love him. He's the commissioner of our fantasy football league.
He is. Will WWE book Owens as a chicken shit heel or a powerful one? I think it's gonna be a little bit of both. Because
he's always been a bit of a chicken shit heel. He does it on his own terms.
Yeah, he's an opportunist.
Right, exactly. I mean, look at last night. Clean win over Sami Zayn.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to rely on outside interference as much as Rollins did.
I agree with that.
But he will be an opportunist. Log Z. How long do you think KO will keep the title? And then Jeffrey Turner, in the similar vein, do you think Kevin Owens can hold the Universal title till WrestleMania?
I don't think that's going to happen.
No?
Till WrestleMania is a long time. I would say the Rumble would probably be the latest.
That's 7 months.
But I don't know. WrestleMania? Where we're at? We're just at SummerSlam?
Yeah, 7 months till WrestleMania.
Who had the world title? Dean had the world title. They wanted Roman to have it for a long time, probably. Boy, I don't know. It's hard to, based on recent history. Rollins had it for a long time.
It would all depend on what their WrestleMania plans are.
Yeah. I guess it wouldn't surprise. I guess I'll put it this way: it wouldn't surprise me if he kept it to WrestleMania.
Because I don't think they're going to do Rollins Balor if Rollins is going to be a face the whole time.
Well, let me ask you this: who do you think the next? See, I mean, that to me would kind of make sense if they waited to take the belt off Owens until Balor came back. That could make some sense.
Yeah.
So possible. I'm thinking.
And given the history between the two, there's a storyline built in right there.
That's true. Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe they'll do Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Who knows? We don't know. We just don't know.
That's what I like about it. We don't know. They don't even probably even know.
They don't know.
I can guarantee you they have no idea when they're planning on Kevin Owens.
I know.
They might have a general idea.
Yeah, I mean,
but the day of that particular pay-per-view, it's a toss-up.
Well, I mean, like, I think right now they're like, okay, we're going to have Owens keep the belt till then. But things can change in between.
Yeah, and those things that can change are Vince waking up and deciding something else.
Chris Kimmel, do you think that Triple H is going to interfere in the Kevin Owens-Seth Rollins match at Clash of Champions?
He'll be there, and yeah, probably, because if we're going to get Triple H versus Rollins.
Yeah.
Rollins, I'll put it this way. Rollins is not losing that clean.
No.
He will lose it.
Yes.
So chances are, yes.
Yes. Triple H will definitely be there.
Yeah. What's all these people? Oh, no, this is perfect. Okay, good. James Rodriguez, do you think Seth needs a new finisher? Especially if he gets locked into a feud with Triple H.
I think the fact they both use the pedigree enhances the feud.
That is the story. That's a big chunk of the story right there. Yep. And Seth walks away. Triple H passes the pedigree torch to Seth.
Yeah.
What is he going to do? Go back to the curb stomp?
You can't do that.
I would love that. But you can't have the guy have 3 finishing moves over the course of 3 years.
Yeah, you can't do that.
The pedigree is a story unto itself.
Yeah. Rich Udding, would you prefer the story going forward to be Triple H versus Steph or Triple H and Steph versus Foley?
I think it should be this. I think it should be more of a Triple H versus Foley with Steph caught in the middle type situation.
The exact same
That's
thing.
what it should be, and I think that's what it's shaping up to be.
I think you're right about that. Excessive Derp. Do you think we will eventually be treated to Owens versus Balor for the title upon Balor's comeback, or will it be Rollins versus Balor? We just talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think Rollins as a face is going to last for a while.
Yeah. And I think that's smarter than now with Balor out for half a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Andrew Wormley, do you see them making the Universal title match a triple threat match?
No, I don't. No. I see Roman Reigns and Chris Jericho going on a clash.
Carlos Hackworth. Bayley did beat Charlotte, so wouldn't that put her in the title match to make the triple threat? We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Riley Sarek. How close were you to crying when Sasha first came to the ring, cutting a classic "See You Guys Later" promo that fooled us? Also, do you think we will get triple threat women's match for the title?
I wasn't close to crying, but because I don't really cry that much. But I was disheartened. I was like, oh man,
bummer.
What a drag.
Josh.
It was up there when Daniel Bryan retired.
Yeah. Josh. You know, I started to get a little not crying, but I started to get a little emotional when Brie came out at the end of Daniel Bryan's.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because she was really emotional.
Yeah.
Josh, when will Dana turn face? Not for a while.
Probably not for a while. She seems to be. I mean, look, I hope that she stays in this role for such a long time that she gets really good at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because reps are everything.
Luke Stibbs. Is Dana Brooke going to join the club?
Doesn't seem that way now. She didn't really have anything to do with him this week.
Nope. Alex Cartwright. If Gallows and Anderson don't win the tag titles at Clash of Champions, who on Raw can realistically win them? They're just in a holding pattern until New Day break the record, at which point the Revival get the call up and win them. I
think it's one of two things. I think either they're going to win them at Clash or they're going to part ways. What do you think? How long can they do this for? What's after Clash? Survivor Series.
It's next one for Raw is Hell in a Cell, I think, after Clash. That's the October one.
Yeah, I would see.
But here's another question though: is if the club doesn't win them and they end their feud, who's the next team to step up and
no clue
and contend?
It can't be end zone cast. I mean, the path for end zone cast should be through the club.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And end zone cast need to have those belts.
Yeah.
Well, they don't need them, but they definitely deserve them.
Yeah. But yeah, until we can answer who is next in line for the New Day, you got to assume the club and them are going to still be feuding.
Correctamundo.
Heated Pillow. Hey, friendos. Greetings from Lithuania. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Did WWE totally waste Anderson and Luke Gallows?
No, they're fine. They're fine. They're still being booked strong. They got a big old juicy spot in the middle of the show. They're fine.
Just the last 2 weeks haven't been very good.
They just haven't been very. The writing hasn't been solid and hasn't been crisp and hasn't been clever and hasn't been funny.
If they're on SmackDown,
oh man,
with AJ.
Oh gosh. Oh, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Bunsy the Frog.
Great name.
What do you think is next for the U.S. Championship? He thought a Roman Rusev feud could be good for both of them and the title, but it seems as if Roman's firmly in Universal title picture again after an apologizingly short stint in the mid-card. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Rusev's on his honeymoon for the next month,
Yes.
apparently.
Yeah.
So Reigns needs something else to do in the interim.
Mm-hmm. Reigns is not back in the title picture at all. They need to make him look strong because they have a lot of money in him.
Yeah.
And they think they can still make a lot of money in him.
Yes.
I think they still can.
Yes.
But, yeah, they're keeping him away from the title for a while. Don't worry, we're not going to get another Roman title reign anytime soon.
Yeah, not anytime soon. X-Ray Guy.
X-Ray Guy.
After shoehorning Reigns into the Rollins-Owens feud, does it look like WWE have lost all ideas for him? No. Like I said, it's just a short-term thing. Until
I mean,
comes
I
back.
think they're generally kind of calling an audible on him. You know, it's like, well, he got suspended. It didn't work. We got to figure something out. And I'm not sure they have like a solid path, but I think they're trying to find one.
No, they definitely don't have a path to get him back solidly and legitimately in the main event.
Right.
At least not until Rusev comes back.
Yeah.
Jericho Kunzman.
Okay.
How are you doing, friendos?
How you doing?
Why is WWE still putting Reigns in the title picture?
They're not
back to
really.
X-Ray Guy. No, he's kind of
Donovan,
circling it, maybe.
Donovan Dean, why do you guys think Rusev's been off TV the past 2 weeks?
Honeymoon.
Wedding,
honeymoon.
Yeah.
Rib tape. Bailey Bearden. That's a good name. If Roman doesn't continue his feud with Rusev, who do you think Rusev's next opponent will be? He thinks that Rusev will interfere in next week's match between Roman and KO.
It'll be Jericho.
Yeah, Rusev's still on his honeymoon, if Twitter is to be believed.
If he is to believe on Twitter.
Jake Lambert, do you think we will see Brock led at a Survivor Series in a match that Goldberg could interfere in setting up their WrestleMania 33 match? Brock Lesnar will not be at Survivor Series.
No, I agree with that. Survivor Series is like the 5th biggest pay-per-view now.
Yeah, he won't be there. We won't see Brock again until lead up to Royal Rumble.
Was there any latest on Goldberg?
Apparently, I read a thing on WrestleZone that in something he ripped up a Brock Lesnar shirt and blew.
Oh, I did. I watched that. Yeah, it was so tongue-in-cheek though. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anything.
James Garcia, do you believe Bo Dallas can become a legit threat, or is it too late for him? We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Eric Hobson, do you think Bo Dallas is getting a mid-card push that will lead to a U.S. title shot?
He's sort of in the same range as Darren Young, so
Not
I would
immediately.
say it's going to be a little while.
Yeah.
Rusev is Roman Reigns is a really, really strong name to have in that U.S. title picture.
Yeah.
And I think him and Rusev still have a lot to do.
Yes. And Rusev is a strong
Rusev
champion.
is a really strong champion.
Brady Ogden, who do you think will be the next big star in the NXT women's division? This is a good question. I think Ember Moon, for sure.
Yeah.
I think Billie Kay has some potential.
I think they're really going to see how Billie Kay works out because they're really putting some
Santana
stock in
Garrett,
her.
when she's on TV.
There's a lot of
She impresses.
There's a lot of up and comers who the jury's going to be out on until they get some wins and do some stories.
Well, I think that's the more important thing is storyline and developing them as characters.
Yeah, so we'll see if they give Billie Kay some promo time. We'll see how she does.
I mean, they already started kind of laying the groundwork for a character when she was on SmackDown, and then they said that changed her.
Yeah.
So, Joshua Matthews, with Del Rio gone, what do you think Paige will do if they're still going out? I don't know if they are, and what could the WWE do with her and the rest of the Raw's women's wrestlers? And there's not many of them, and that could have us watching the same match every week on pay-per-view.
That was kind of the thing about the brand draft is that I think the women's division in general kind of suffered from that because, I mean, on one hand, like for example on SmackDown, it elevated certain people like Becky Lynch, who's going to get her first title win.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, look, in a perfect world for me, I would have seen the women's division stay as it is with people still being called up, but with a secondary belt. And I know that sounds like contrary to, it's like, well, you just have a brand split. But you have more matches that can take place all over the place.
I understand why they wanted to split the women's division.
Yeah, you can't have a show without a women's division.
But it might have benefited the women's division as a whole to have them all on the same show, just to get different feuds and storylines and different matches.
There's definitely not, because on Raw you've got Charlotte and Dana Brooke.
And Sasha.
And Nia Jax.
And Nia Jax, yeah.
And then Sasha, I'm looking at heels, and then Sasha, Bayley.
Alicia Fox. Paige.
There you go. So, yeah, things need to happen. And then you start fast-tracking some people up there.
I lost my spot. Hold on. Derek Simmons with Alberto Del Rio out of the picture. What other wrestlers could you see butchering the name of? It says maybe Dean
because
Elbows.
He said Alberto Dorito.
And AJ Styles.
Just don't do that anymore, Derek Simmons. Dean Elbows? That's horrible.
Instead of Dean Ambrose.
Oh, that's funny.
Sean Troush. With the success of Kevin Owens in WWE, do you think they'd ever give Chris Hero another chance in NXT? Probably not.
John Seeley Mattress instead of Cena.
That's pushing it.
See, I can dive in there. Same with Derek Simmons. Use some really bad names.
Rusev's beef.
Put that beef away.
Would you guys rather see the initially announced Seth versus KO, the triple threat, or maybe a fatal four-way with Jericho? KO has to be ending soon now that Owens is champ.
No, I'm fine with the singles match. Look, I want whatever thing is going to happen between Kevin Owens and Jericho to be a very long game.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yes.
There's so much to be had with Kevin Owens as champion.
Yes.
That's a testament to him.
Yes.
And how he's been able to successfully have all these sort of relationships in the company.
Yes. Zach Humphrey. Do you want to see an invasion led by Triple H of his NXT guys to take over all the belts on both shows?
It's kind of happening anyways.
I don't know. Is there a...
Dean, not really, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a single male competitor on SmackDown that could be a Triple H guy.
I wonder what the Bullet Club invasion was a Triple H maneuver, or was that a Vince thing?
I don't know.
That seems like it might have been a little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Mm-hmm. But I mean on
Baron Corbin.
Apollo Crews.
Yeah, move on. It's not going to be in it. It's not anytime soon.
Chandler Productions. Why are we still seeing Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil?
I don't know, man. That's a good one. Because everybody needs a bathroom break and everybody needs to eat some food at some point. It's a 3-hour show. You got to have something.
Yeah.
You got to get out of the house at some point.
Bland Yoshi. He would have had Cesaro win 3, Sheamus tied up, and then a back-and-forth finish for Cesaro to win.
He just would have done things opposite.
Yeah, pretty much. No, Cesaro should win, but I guess they're doing the underdog. Come from behind.
I kind of like it this way better, though. Cesaro going up 3, and then a fierce Sheamus. That helps Sheamus.
Yeah, it does.
Sheamus needs more out of this than Cesaro. So that would have helped Sheamus a lot more.
What if Sheamus sweeps? Does that help him more than coming back from 3-0?
Oh, it helps me more. I would be a huge Sheamus mark.
I know
at that
you
point.
probably.
I would be so huge.
You downloaded his theme on your song again.
Again, I would.
His theme on your phone again. Theme on your song.
Whatever he says.
Brother Omar, how would you guys book the debut of Ty Dillinger on the main roster?
I don't know, man.
He'd go to SmackDown.
You're a big Ty Dillinger mark.
He'd go to SmackDown.
He's a perfect SmackDown guy. Because he's goofy as hell.
And he against The Miz would be fun.
I will grant you that.
That would be a lot of fun.
I will grant you that.
That would be tons of fun.
But even now, we're hoping that Miz is going to be hot shit.
How do you think
Miz is going to be the new king of hard style, strong style?
How do you think The Miz would react to Ty Dillinger doing his perfect 10 thing towards him?
I don't know.
It would be funny.
It would be funny.
I think.
I think we're past funny Miz.
No, I'm not saying The Miz would be funny. I just think his reaction would be funny.
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny.
Ronan Cahill. What matchup between current WWE stars would you like to see, but will probably never happen? Ronan suggests The Undertaker versus Shinsuke. That's a good one.
That's a damn good one. Would like to see it. Probably never happen. Shinsuke versus Taker. Shit. I don't know if I can beat that one.
Yeah, I don't know if I can either.
Taker is his time limited. What do you think? He has 2 more matches in him?
Maybe.
Yeah,
he might be done.
Yeah.
All right, Cody Rowland.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys please explain to me why you thought Bayley should have gone to SmackDown because SmackDown needs it? In his opinion, the SmackDown Women's division is far superior to Raw's because I could see any of those women win the championship, whereas Raw's women's division is Charlotte, Dana, Bayley, Sasha, and Nia, plus a couple of jobbers and Paige who may leave because of Del Rio, which let's hope doesn't happen. And since Nia is solely squashes at the moment and Sasha is injured, the only matches we see are Bayley versus Dana or Bayley versus Charlotte. And I think the reason we thought Bayley would fit in better, at least speaking for myself, on SmackDown was to lend SmackDown a bit more star power.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was my primary reason for having her go to SmackDown.
SmackDown's women's division is far superior to Raw. I see in terms of the depth, but in terms of the talent, Carmella's not a terribly great wrestler.
Eva Marie's not a good wrestler.
Eva Marie's not a good wrestler.
Alexa Bliss is good, but
Alexa
she's
Bliss
still
is good.
pretty
Still
new.
green though. Yeah. There's, in my opinion, there's more weight on Raw's
Star power.
Star power. There's
Yeah.
more star power in their division.
What's squeaking?
It's my chair.
Oh, okay.
I think. Or a table, one of the two. I like Bayley. I always wanted Bayley on Raw because to me, Raw is still the must-see show, and I want one of my favorite wrestlers to be on the must-see show. I still wish AJ Styles was back on Raw, and then I'd still watch SmackDown, but I just, AJ Styles is the place that runs the face.
Yeah.
Face that runs the place.
SmackDown's a fun show.
SmackDown's a fun show, but to me, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it, and it's like, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. It's fine.
But I Raw is the show that I have to watch. Raw is the one that, brings me to the dance.
Potato Joe, do you think Sasha is still favoring her back? She grabbed it as she was leaving the ring last night. I noticed that. That could just be.
Oh, she's like, I mean, she might be. She might.
But they weren't going to clear her to return unless she was healthy. So that's just a sell job.
Yeah.
Blake Healy, do you think WWE panicked when Sasha was injured and brought up Bayley? Now Sasha's been cleared. What will Bayley do? I think that's kind of half right. I think they thought Sasha was going to be out longer.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's hard to call that a panic. I mean, that's a wise move.
That's a wise move, yeah.
What are they going to do now? We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, they'll get Bayley involved in the title mix.
In the mix.
Bob Anderson, until Sasha's mic drop last night, it seemed like Bayley was getting a #1 contender push. Is he alone in this? He finds it very confusing. Thoughts?
I hope that it's going to play into the storyline as to who the #1 contender is. Sasha obviously needs her rematch, but Bayley made a very good case for herself.
CJ Rebelli, do you think Vince Russo is bitter because Bischoff got a Walmart DVD documentary box set and he didn't?
Yeah, obviously. That's exactly why.
Now that's Sassandra. The Cruiserweight champion is arriving in 2 weeks. Do you think they'll have a strong roster of wrestlers to support the belt, or will it be as stale as a tag team division?
Seriously.
The names they've announced so far are fantastic.
This, if anything, is going to get Raw out of its 3-hour black hole space-time conundrum, it's going to be the Cruiserweight division.
Put a Cruiserweight match right after the start of the 3rd hour.
And there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dan Boss.
Who
are you most excited?
Hi, I'm Dan Boss.
You done?
You want to meet your manager? You just first day of your job. You want to meet your manager? Hi, I'm Dan Boss.
Hello, welcome to company. I am Dan Boss. Who are you most excited to see in the Cruiserweight division in 2 weeks? Cedric Alexander.
Yeah. Everybody.
Yeah.
Kota Ibushi, Gran Metalik.
Kota Ibushi's wasn't one of the announced names.
Oh, okay. Gran Metalik was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gran Metalik.
Yeah, Gran Metalik was really good. Keep losing my spot. Thanks. Email. Jason the Cabbie.
Thanks, Dan. Email.
Am I the only one getting tired of squash matches between Bo, Nia, Braun, and so on? They just don't seem to be building towards anything, and they aren't even long enough for a poo break like a Lesnar match.
No, they're building the stuff. Nia's moving on to Alicia Fox. She's a name.
Like Braun is moving on.
Yeah, they're moving on.
Michael Dodd. What would you do with Nia Jax moving forward?
I think
right now is a good time to move her into a proper feud. After, 4 weeks of squash matches?
I mean, that is look. There's no doubt that is sort of the conundrum of the. I mean, maybe Paige next.
Mm-hmm.
Paige sounds right. Mm-hmm. Fucking use Paige. Jesus Christ.
Well, she has to be not suspended and healthy.
I know.
Muhammad Abdel-Jabbar. What do you think WWE is going to do for Strowman next? The squash matches are getting kind of old. Well, I think we see Sin Cara, and then from there maybe
he's moving on from my career mode.
Yeah. Ryan Scott, how do you guys feel about the death of the Titantron?
I love that new set.
Me too.
Man.
It's great.
It's a good looking set.
Jamie 10. He saw an article on Bleacher Report recently that claimed Luke Harper was going to return soon. He's often heard how he is one of the top talents on the roster. I think you guys might mention that as well. He's good.
I like Luke Harper.
Yeah, I like him.
I think we've never seen exactly what he can do, though.
Yeah. How would you book Luke Harper to get the most out of him?
Put him with Bray.
That's just more of the same.
Honestly, I don't know, man. Do you have him go solo?
I don't think any of the
Okay, how about this?
Wyatt family guys should have gone solo.
How about this?
Not right now, at least.
This is sort of the problem. You put him on the same show as Bray. He's branded Wyatt family guy. But what if you gave Luke Harper the storylines that you were going to, and granted, not the same character. What if you put Luke Harper against the same people you were going to put Baron Corbin against? Mm-hmm. I think you'd get some far more interesting stuff happening. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Excuse me.
Because I don't know what Baron Corbin is picking. I mean, I know he was in the main event last week. But he's
just
picking
bullying
on Kalisto.
Yeah. Jonathan C. What are your thoughts on the ESPN analyst that mocked Kevin Owens' son after his Universal title win?
He apologized. He had to eat shit, so move on. I don't think some people they need to fire him. I don't fire him. He apologized.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens rubbed it in his face a little bit.
Good.
So I win. And move on.
Yeah. Jonathan C. again. Oh, we're only supposed to do one question per person. Next. MJCR99. What is better, having a record with the title, like a long run, or winning the title multiple times? I would think having a long run with the title would be better than having several short runs.
Well, it's interesting because the WWE doesn't see it that way, but I agree with you because all they care about are the numbers.
I know, but I think CM Punk having the belt for more than a year is more impressive than, I don't know, like someone that's had the belt 5 times.
No, I agree. I agree totally. But they make such a big deal about it.
I know, but the number of
This is actually
reigns.
a pretty good... We'll make an exception for Jonathan C. over here. Has there been a particular moment in WWE programming that almost turned you off to the product?
That's why I included the question initially.
Yeah, that's a good question.
If so, what and why?
Oh, man.
I can think more of moments during WCW that turned me off the product. Like the finger poke of doom.
Yeah, no, dude. No, seeing Vince Russo... And with the belt?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, number one, just seeing Vince Russo's face.
Yeah.
But number two, seeing Vince Russo with the belt.
Seeing David Arquette with the belt.
Seeing that was stuff that was so infuriating. I can't think of something that was so infuriating with the WWE. Vince never, I think, got to the point where I was like, this is so disrespectful to wrestling.
Yeah.
That I don't want that I don't want to watch it. I think this is just... Vince never got to that point. He's done some fucked up things, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but let's talk about Vince Russo for a second.
Okay.
Saying that he was calling out Sasha last night on his Twitter, saying that brawn panty matches, he number one, he took credit for those.
Yeah.
Him and Ed Ferrara took credit for those.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Because here's the thing. I was watching that Mankind won that WWE. I watched the entire episode.
Yeah.
And if Russo had anything to do with the writing on that, it was really good.
Yeah.
He should claim credit for that.
Yeah.
Not for brawn panty matches. And he said those helped win the war. I disagree. And look, I wasn't there in terms of being in there and looking at numbers and maybe numbers spike. But this is a guy who thought that having David Arquette wearing the big gold belt on the cover of USA Today.
Vince Russo thinks short-term pops are good overall.
Exactly.
And I don't think that's the case.
And here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. The WWE, in my opinion, from the point of view of a fan, won the Monday Night War because of two things. When Mike Tyson came in, that turned everybody's attention to how good the young talent was.
Yeah.
Stone Cold, The Rock, DX, Jericho, Mankind, Undertaker, Kane. That kept people watching.
Yeah.
After Goldberg beat Hogan for the belt, was there anything significant that happened in WCW after that point, really? NWO fell off.
Yeah.
They tried restarting a million times.
Yeah.
David Arquette, Vince Russo, New Blood. WCW didn't know what to do with what they had.
Yeah.
Didn't matter who was writing, who was booking. There were little moments here and there, but they couldn't figure out how to make that extra money off of Goldberg. They had shit like the finger poke of doom.
They had Kevin Nash ending Goldberg's streak.
They had Kevin Nash ending Goldberg's streak. They had
only to lead to the finger poke of doom.
They were playing up Scott Hall's alcoholism on camera.
Yeah.
There were when Vince Russo was booking, it just wasn't interesting. It was a car wreck, and WWE, WWF, regardless if when Goldberg beat Hogan, if they won the ratings that night or whatever, I know there was some time when they were sort of switched on and off, but the bottom line is that WWF always was anchored by their great talent.
You always felt like WWF had a vision beyond how to pop ratings the next week.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Whereas WCW literally felt like a week-to-week thing.
Right. It did. It every single week. And it's like, who's booking this week? Maybe it's Kevin Nash. Maybe it's Kevin Sullivan. Maybe it's Vince Russo.
WWE's motivation seemed more to develop characters and stories. I mean, sure, they did salacious stuff to get eyeballs.
Yeah.
But I think it was all... The main motivation was to create characters and stories that people would want to watch.
Yeah. In that one episode, and again, if Russo was involved in the writing of that one episode, a lot of credit goes to him, obviously. But that's one of the ways when you had Raws that were unpredictable but logical from a storyline perspective. You know, you set up at the beginning, Mankind is about to break Shane McMahon's shoulder unless he gets a spot in the Rumble. McMahon comes down then and says, McMahon says you can't get this. Mankind threatens to break his shoulder, says, I don't want that anymore. I want a title shot tonight. So he gives it to him. So it's those kind of things. You had really, really fascinating story. And then, maybe you stick around for the bra and panties, maybe you do that. But should you be using that and you're sacrificing good wrestling? Like in the end, I'm sorry, but in the end, what won out? Good wrestling won out.
Yep.
Using the women the way they should be used in good wrestling stories.
Yep.
That's what won in the end.
Yep.
So it's like you might have gotten some eyeballs to your product, but do you think the eyeballs that were going there just for the bra and panties, do you think they were sticking around for wrestling? No, of course not.
No.
I didn't give a shit. I mean, look, everybody likes bra and panty matches, but in terms of being, but we're in college, we're college guys, we like that stuff. But at the same time, I don't remember that shit. I don't remember anybody who was in a bra and panties match.
And we didn't tune into wrestling just to watch that.
No, exactly. Like you can go a million different places to see that kind of crap, and they show you more. So it's like, no, that didn't help win. What helped win was Stone Cold Steve Austin, Chris Jericho, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Mike Tyson,
The Rock,
Mankind.
Yeah,
that's what won. And then your competition was shooting themselves in the foot on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Every single week, it was underwhelming.
Yeah, it was.
So, anyways.
Damon Cruz. What % would you give Jay Lethal coming to NXT following his loss to Adam Cole?
I haven't heard Jay Lethal talk about coming to NXT.
Nor have I. We haven't heard any rumblings. Nothing on the dirt sheets about it. I would love for it to happen.
No, I'd love for it to happen. Yeah,
Jay Lethal is great.
Yeah, he's fantastic. How old is Jay Lethal?
I think he's in his early 30s. I think I looked the other day to see how old
there is a pattern of guys being a little bit older when they're coming in now. He's nearing that age when it would benefit him probably. I wonder if he wants to make a little bit more of a name for himself, a little bit more demand for himself, so he can make a little bit more money.
That could be.
Kenny Omega's doing that right now.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
gonna
he
get
is.
Fat bank when he comes over.
Jake, could you book Paige's return to Raw's women's division? If she does return, that is.
She'll come back.
Yeah.
She'll come back, and she'll fight Nia Jax. I think is a good feud for her. That's a really good feud for her,
Yeah. One more for Damon Cruz, because this is a good question. After watching his match at Evolve, I think WWE missed a huge opportunity with Cody Rhodes. Who do you think WWE skipped over?
Oh, Damien Sandow for sure.
Yes.
Damien Sandow. That guy had excuse me, that guy has all the charisma in the world. I don't think he's gonna be used right at TNA. So
Spanky, can you see a match in the WCW actually going to the time limit? They sure are making a huge deal about it in every match.
I haven't really been paying attention. I mean, I've really been enjoying the commentary, but I haven't noticed that they're making a big deal about the time.
They will mention that the match is to a certain time limit, and the only one that came close, I think, was the Cedric Alexander-Kota Ibushi match.
Okay. I do see that happening.
Yeah.
Either in the final or something. I don't know.
We'll have overtime in the final.
Yeah, but it'll definitely happen.
Bronier Solano Cubero.
Cubero.
Hey, friendos. Hope you're having a good day.
Thank you. I am.
Anyways, who's on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling? His is Hogan, Flair, Stone Cold, and John Cena.
You know what's funny is that when I read this, yeah, that's mine too.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, you don't get better than Austin. Cena's a once-in-a-generation guy. Flair and Hogan were like 1A, 1B nationally.
If you're talking about in their money-drawing ability and importance to the industry, then yeah.
Who else would you be on there?
Shawn Michaels.
See, here's my thing about that, is that you can trace, in my opinion, who's the best performer on here?
Stone Cold.
I would say Flair. In terms of in-ring performing, I think HBK comes from Ric Flair.
Yeah, I can.
And so if Ric Flair is sort of the godfather of that, then that's why you'd put him on.
I understand that.
No, look, I think that HBK is probably, without a doubt, the best performer in the history of the game. Yeah. But I think he owes...
No, I wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah.
MJ Finchy lad. Which wrestler, in your opinion, past or present, never got the push or title they deserved? Scott Hall.
I'm not going to disagree with that one.
Razor Ramon.
Yeah, for sure.
He should have been world champ.
Yeah.
Rich Anderson. If you had been in control of the Yeti and Glacier gimmick booking, how would you write them?
The exact same way they're writing Cesaro and Sheamus now. I think there's a lot of parallels.
Yeah, they should have done a best of 7 between the Yeti and Glacier.
Why not?
It's true.
Absolutely.
Eager 34. Just wondering, what are your thoughts on Ready to Rumble and the aftermath with the WCW title? I've actually never seen Ready to Rumble.
I think I've seen most of it.
I really don't have any desire to.
Well, the aftermath of the WCW.
That's when David Arquette won it.
Yeah, so we've made our opinion be known.
And then Jeff Jarrett won it after that.
Ugh. What's worse, Jeff Jarrett winning it or David Arquette winning it?
Might be Jeff Jarrett.
You know what's funny is that this is really bad, but I was watching old USWA on the network the other day, and number one, chock full of great kayfabe corner names.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I never knew that Awesome Kong was a guy before Awesome Kong. Yeah, he was a guy in Jarrett's promotion. That's probably, Jarrett was the founder of TNA, so it makes me wonder if that's why he bequeathed that name to Awesome Kong to Carmel, whatever her name is. Yeah, there was an Awesome Kong before Awesome Kong. She's technically Awesome Kong too.
I lost my spot. Hold on. There it is.
Patrick Sparks. Hey, friendo, it's Pat here.
How would you have booked the higher power storyline?
Exactly as it went.
Yep.
Nothing wrong. It was me, Austin. Do you remember how disappointed?
Yeah,
I remember. I was so disappointed that it was Vince. But there was nobody else that ever could have been. No. Anybody would have been underwhelming.
I know. Robert Hay. At what age were you guys when you started watching wrestling, and what is your earliest memory of it? I was probably 7. The first match I remember watching was Killer Bees against the British Bulldogs Saturday on USA Network at roughly 7 years old.
You know what's funny is that the first memories I have of wrestling, I used to watch the
cartoon.
The cartoon. I used to watch the cartoon. I always knew in my head, I was a guy who was, when I was coming up, I was always aware that it was the fake stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I had a stigma against it. When I was in England, I don't even know if we got the programming there beyond the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked the cartoon a lot when I was a kid. And then I always knew about it, but I didn't start watching it again until I was in junior college, and I was hanging out with you guys. That's when I started, because you guys would watch it.
Yeah. Hawk Wasp 94. Greetings from Ireland.
Hi.
With you guys going full wrestling show now, can we see an end of the week top 10 moments in wrestling every week?
Not now, but if I don't know you guys out there sending in your resumes and applications, but I really do hope that with the way things are going now, maybe like a year from now, we could be in a position to hire on somebody that could help us out and get some. Because if we look,
Yeah.
if we hire, we're freaking liberal Democrats. So if we hire somebody, we want to pay them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
So if that happens, I could see us doing more programming like that along those lines. But right now, with the channel the way it's at, we're pretty much the limit
maxed out,
with what we can do.
Alex Shez. Almost 2 months into the brand split, has each show met your expectations so far? What do you enjoy most? I enjoy the goofiness of SmackDown.
Yeah, me too. I enjoy that both shows have distinct styles and writing styles and booking styles and AJ styles.
Yes.
So I'm not sure what my expectations were.
Well, after the draft, my expectations for SmackDown were pretty low.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's in that
and the
case,
first episode, it seemed to bear that out.
Yeah, in that case, by this time, it overwhelms.
Yeah.
I think
Raw, it whelms on a regular basis and occasionally overwhelms.
Yeah, I would say when Raw is really good, it's better than it was before the draft. I'll say that because I just think the talent at the top of the card on Raw is just all really good.
Yeah. Alex Martosi, what are the chances that SmackDown Live will open with AJ still on the ropes? How funny would that be?
I would love for that to be the case.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like they moved the ring to a different city and AJ was still on the ropes.
I know, exactly.
That's the end of questions.
All right, video questions. We have some video questions.
We do. From Joe Kim Morales.
Here and pleasure, not your ordinary Joe, present. So with the obvious face turn coming from Seth Rollins, I wanted to know what was your guys' list of top 10 babyface turns of all time. I don't have a list of my own, just kind of popped up, so I figured I'd ask you guys. That's all I got for you this week. Battle Club Pro, New York, Bronx area, October 1st. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Guys, check it out. We really love your support. Steven Larson, thanks for letting me shout that out. That's all I got for you this week. Thanks, friendos.
Okay, here we go.
I think the first one, well, I guess you could consider a babyface turn. Maybe. Kind of. Was CM Punk healed before the pipe bomb?
Yes, he was.
Okay, then that's a babyface turn.
He was the leader of the Nexus. So yeah, that was a babyface turn. I mean, that's up there. We'll not do 10. This might be subject for a video we do at some point.
That's good. That's a good idea.
Babyface turns. Sid's random babyface. We can do top 10 worst babyface turns.
There's a new babyface in town.
Sid randomly just said, "I'm a babyface now." Like he literally used wrestling insider lingo.
I know.
Shit.
This one really requires some thought.
It kind of does. I mean, Seth Rollins is up there right now. I don't know. That's too recent.
We'll think about it. We'll actually do a whole video on it.
Yeah. And by the way, check out. He's a new patron, Joe from Miz, and he's doing this thing called Battle Club Pro, and it's a wrestling show. October 1st. You can check it out at the facebook.com/Battle Club Pro. I said, look, if you guys are going to be a patron and you have something like a wrestling show, especially that might be of interest to people, we'll give it a shout out.
Yeah,
they're helping support the cause.
Yeah,
check it out.
Yeah, and we'll do a video on this.
It's in New York. It's in the Bronx.
Yeah,
can't go wrong.
We'll do a video on this idea and answer your question in video form.
Yeah.
Jason Burleson, let's take a look.
Hey, friendos. Jason the Cabbie coming to you from the shop that doesn't sleep. Following wrestling again for the first time in like a decade because of you guys. So I ended up marking out so hard I top tiered the Patreon just so I could tell you how much I appreciate it. That being said, with the Patreon, Larson, come on, man, agree to some sort of Patreon goal that you'll too sweet for. Question though, what jobber would you say you marked out the hardest for? I was always a Brooklyn Brawler guy, if I can even say his fucking name right. I always knew he wasn't going to win, but I kind of always had the hope that he'd pull off some sort of upset.
And he also wants you to give me a too sweet on my birthday. It's my birthday. 2 years from being 40 years old. I'm so old, Larson.
Yeah, I'm a year from being 40.
No, too sweet for 40.
No.
On my 40th birthday.
See, like it's your birthday, so I'm like,
really?
I'll think about it. But in the end, I guess.
You know who will give me a too sweet?
Sure, Magnum TA will give you a too sweet.
Too sweet.
There you go. What jobber did you mark out the hardest for?
Shit, I think I had an answer to this question too. What jobber did I mark out the hardest for? Sheamus. I want him to go 4-0. James Ellsworth. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm like, what consistent jobbers are there now these days?
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of the Brooklyn Brawler is like the classic jobber.
Well, I mean, like, there's guys. I mean, apparently, I was a huge Fandango mark at one point.
You were, yes. You
And now
were.
or for a spell, he was a jobber, so I guess that could be an answer.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of any on the top of my head. I always like, what was Jericho's number 2 guy? Not Cletus. Ralphus. He wrestled sometimes, I think,
On
didn't
occasion,
he?
yeah, a couple times.
I liked Ralphus.
Next question from Patrick Sparks.
Let's see, Patrick.
Hey friendos, Pat here. So obviously, the final deletion was one of the best things that's ever been created, ever, in all time. So I want to get your thoughts on the upcoming Delete or Decay thing with Matt and Jeff and Abyss and whoever the fuck else it is. And my next question is, who do you think will be the next TNA star signed to WWE?
Thanks, Patrick. Interesting you mentions Abyss there with the whole Delete or Decay thing, because I was reading up on it because I was like, Abyss, why hasn't he ever been in the WWE? He's been a TNA guy for a long time.
Weren't they trying to bring him in for a program with The Undertaker? At one point?
2005, 2006, around there. They were going to have him come in and fight the Undertaker, and he said he didn't do it because 2005, 2006, TNA was really heating up. That's when AJ was doing some really good work. Samoa Joe was doing really good work. Chris Daniels, probably low-key, was there. And then he didn't do it, and he hasn't done it since. So I would love to see, given how well they have used everybody coming out of TNA,
Yes.
I'd love to see Abyss.
Yeah.
You know, I always really liked the idea of his character. I always, whenever I tune in, I'm like, oh, this guy seems like he's real strong promo guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if it ever happened. It's something I'd like to see happen.
Granted, I don't watch a lot of TNA.
Yeah.
Remember, I hadn't watched it in a while, and after Drew Galloway won the belt, I tuned in. And during that episode, the opening segment was a mess. This is pre-broken Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
And the one guy that stood out, at least initially that night, was Mike Bennett.
Oh yeah, sure.
During one of his promos, I thought his promo was pretty strong. I've seen some of his work since then that kind of tempered that enthusiasm a bit.
yeah.
But I think he would be a decent addition to NXT.
Yeah. I've heard good things about him.
I don't know with Maria Kanellis' past experience with WWE if they'd want to do that.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure. Delete or Decay, might check it out. I don't know. I mean,
it's gonna be hard to top the final deletion.
Yeah, I know exactly. I feel like that was sort of the ultimate. And there's been some good stuff after that.
Yeah, I know. But I guess the concern is always, there's that movie that's really good and they make a sequel and it's not any good.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's kind of my worry.
It's my birthday.
Yeah. Oh, we got stuff.
We got some stuff here.
Before we do the greatest pro wrestling trivia challenge of all time.
Exactly. Ooh, hefty. Look at this. This is coming from Bruce Green. The man himself, Bruce Green, sent us some. Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
Sent us all sorts of swag. Look at this shit. Holy crap.
Oh man, they hooked us up.
They fucking hooked it up. It's my birthday. We got ourselves, let's see here. What size is this one? Extra large.
That's for Steve here.
That's for me. What's this one? Large. You get your Funhouse Fallout little mashup there. Looking good. Oh, I like this. It's like the Funhouse, but for Pornhub. That's good.
Or
I
YouTube.
got my own one. Or what's that?
Or for YouTube.
Is that porn? I think that looks like a Pornhub thing.
Well, that's
right?
kind of either or.
I think it's meant to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks, boys, over at Funhouse.
Thank you very much, guys.
Don't you love that we've been in the business long enough so that like us over here on our little channel, we got our friends over there at Funhouse doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be sporting their gear over here on the
We'll have to reciprocate
going in raw.
when we start making t-shirts.
I know. We got some t-shirts in the pipeline. We're going to be sending them a whole bunch of that
Yeah,
shit.
we're gonna have a box.
So Bruce, all you guys over there, we love you so much.
Yes, thank you very much. You guys are the best.
We got to go down to LA one of these
I
days.
know.
Hang out with us.
I know.
You know? Man,
They're all good people.
all good people.
Are you ready?
For what? My birthday?
The greatest pro wrestling trivia challenge of them all.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. The theme or the vote this week was between Sasha Banks and Bayley. Who do you think won?
Hey, Steve wants some Bailey.
Correct. So you ready?
Yeah.
12 names, 6 real, 6 fake.
I'm ready. Locked and ready.
Number 1,
Okay.
Jessie McKay.
Jesse McKay, real.
Yeah.
Nice.
2, Ashley Knox.
Fake.
Yeah.
Okay.
3, Nick Grimes.
Ooh. there's a Vic Grimes out there. Is there a Nick Grimes? Yes, real.
Yeah.
Okay.
4, Natalie Cortez.
Natalie Cortez. I'll say fake. Okay.
5, Surge.
Surge. Spell surge.
Like a surge in power.
Oh, that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know?
No.
Okay. 6, Lucy Fur.
Lucy Fur. Yeah, real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's shit. Who is that? I forget. I think I did one of her names last week.
Daphne.
Oh, maybe not then. Okay, continue.
Next, Serena Webb.
Serena Webb. That sounds real. I'll say real.
Fake.
Fake. Ooh, first one wrong.
Next, Nikki Morgan.
Nikki Moore. Real.
Fake.
Damn it.
Next,
That sounds real. Sounds like a TNA person.
Layla Valentine.
Real.
Fake.
Damn it.
Next, Dr. Monstrous.
Dr. Monsters. Real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next, KC Cassidy.
KC Cassidy. That's awkward, but I'm going to say real. Okay.
Last,
Okay.
Angela Quinn.
Fake. Okay. 9. Look at that,
done.
baby. It's my birthday.
All right, 2 trivia questions as always. You have a chance.
Want some Bailey?
You have a chance to tie the highest score ever.
Hey,
It's 11.
Steve wants some Bailey.
Who did Bailey face in her NXT debut?
Who did Bailey face in her NXT debut? Summer Rae.
Paige.
Oh, okay.
Before Bailey took the name Bailey, she wrestled under the name Davina Rose.
Okay.
What was the name of her finishing move?
Every variation on rose or thorn I can think of just doesn't sound good. The rose petal, that's not very good. The thorn bush, that's not good at all.
Every rose has its thorn.
Yeah, exactly. This smells good. No. Hold on a second.
Come on.
The thornplex.
The rose plant.
That's good. The rose. The rose is a terrible name. The rose plant? Oh, I don't like that. Davina Rose. She wrestled up here.
Yep.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Northern California, yeah.
Yeah. Sacktown's own Perry Von Vicious had a picture with her. I think wrestled her. Didn't wrestle her. They're man and woman. Anyways. Oh boy, that was a long birthday episode.
That was, man.
Hour 41 minutes.
Wow.
My goodness gracious. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, you guys. We got a bonus episode coming up.
Correct.
And thank you so much, all you patrons out there. Thanks again to the boys over at Funhouse for hooking us up with some merch. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.